What's up YouTube, KidMoto22 here, and I'm bringing you guys today with me to do an install of my hard lowers from Advanblack. If you don't know who Advanblack is, you should go check them out. They're a good company that makes aftermarket parts for your Harley, and they do everything paint matched, and they're significantly lower priced than what you're going to get at Harley, and they are very, very good quality. So I purchased some hard lowers for my bike, and I did an install, and I want to show you guys that install video right now. So let's get to it. Let's get out to the garage. We'll do that install, and we'll take a look and see what they look like. All right, well, let's take a look and see what these hard lowers look like from Advanblack. So they are side specific, so you have to have the correct one on the correct side. But we'll take them out, we'll take a look and see what they look like, and we'll begin the install. So Advanblack has these things really packaged well. No complaints about that. And there we go. That is one side, top and bottom. And they do have the glove box insert right here. Excuse me. And there's also a vent that can be opened or closed on this side here also. So, and that opens and closes. Hopefully you can see that okay. Opening and closing. And the glove box, push in, pops open, and you have some room for some storage in there. So, but yeah, that's what they look like. Color matched for my bike. So we'll go ahead and get it all unpackaged, and then I'm going to dry fit them on, and we'll go from there. And in here, I would expect to see some of the other pieces of the install. Install screws, some of the washers, and a Advanblack sticker. All right, so prior to dry fitting this onto your bike, you're going to need to do a couple things, and one of the first things is you have to take this apart. So on the inside of here, there is a bolt on the inside, and hopefully you can see that. There's a bolt on the inside that's going to get this front plate removed. So it takes this plate off, and that will allow for the install after that. So I'm going to go ahead and just use an extension, and I have a 7/16 on here. And I have loosened it up already, so I got that out. Just a 7/16 bolt is all that is. This front cover comes off, and you'll see there's another bracket right here. Okay, so that bracket also needs to be removed, and then you can begin the dry fit part of the install. And so what I mean by dry fit is that this actually goes in a very specific position on your crash bar. And so okay, so I've removed the 7/16 bolt that you see here. I've removed that from the inside in here. Okay, so there's a hole, I don't know if you can see it, but it's back in there. Okay, and now I have to remove that clamp. And that clamp requires a 10mm socket to get that out. And so I have one here, and unfortunately I don't have any long sockets, but this will work this way. All right, and so once you've removed this back brace, so there's a piece on the inside that looks like this, and the back brace that looks like that. This piece doesn't actually have to be removed out of the inside, but I just wanted to show you that it's all solid one piece. Goes together just like this. This part goes on the inside, this part goes on the outside, and that part will connect to your crash bar. So now I'm just going to get down, dry fit this into place, and then I'll start to do the actual assembly. This is the bottom bracket that bends down around your bar. It has a rubber grommet on there, bends down around your bar, and then goes together with the screws and with the washers. Okay, so we'll get to dry fitting this on. I'll find a good place for it, get it all kind of fitted up, and then I'll bring you around to that side and show you kind of what that looks like. The dry fit, to put these in, you kind of want to tip it in and down at the same time, and it will sit in this position kind of just like that. So you can feel where there's some play in there. It's going to move around a bit, and that's why you do this dry fit, because you have to kind of get it in the right spot to where everything is fitting the way that it's supposed to on here. So it'll take a little bit of finagling to get it just in the right spot. But once you have it in the right spot, you should be good to go. So, and this is not the right spot. That is much closer to the right spot right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that bracket on here on the outside, and I'm not going to tighten anything down. I'm going to also install the bracket on the bottom down here, but I'm not going to tighten anything down quite yet because I want to continue to use my highway pegs. And there is a little bit of play that you have in here, which allows for those highway pegs to go in there. So you can have it just like this, solidly against there. You can also tip it just a little bit, which gives you a little bit of gap down here, and that gap will be enough for me to fit my highway peg in there. So I have to do some moving around to get it all to fit nice in those areas. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on getting that completely put together. And so you want to be careful at this point not to let it go, obviously, because if you do, it's just going to fall right on the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and put this bracket back on the inside. And as you're moving it around, you can kind of see there's a spot that it just kind of wants to land. And that's going to be the indicator to you that you're getting it in the right spot, essentially where that wants to land and where this bracket fits the best. And it's going to require a little bit of adjustment, moving it around, getting everything in exactly the right spot that you want it in, and so that when it is completely installed, that it's not going to be vibrating and moving around on you. And one of the things I'm not showing in this process is that once I get everything fit where I want and I have everything in position that I want it in, I will go ahead and also, at that point, I will also go ahead and remove each bolt one at a time, and I will put some blue Loctite on there to get it locked into place. But until I get everything kind of fit the way that it's supposed to, I'm not going to put any of that Loctite on there. So, all right. Well, one of the things I quickly discovered in this process is that my current highway pegs that I have, the configuration I have for my highway pegs, are not going to work with this, but I do want to install these. So I took the highway pegs off for now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to install the highway pegs at a later date with a different type of connector that will work with this setup. And so I'm going to go ahead and just finish the install here, And so then what I wanted to show you is, so you have the bolt that goes on the bottom, and you want to use the rubber washer on the inside of the hard lower, and then you're going to use the metal washer and the bolt on the underside, and this is to prevent it from cracking when you're tightening it down. So, and just remember, this stuff is not metal, so you don't want to over tighten anything, because if you do, you're obviously going to, you're going to crack it. So I'm going to get this kind of situated, refit the way that I want it, and then I'll go ahead and tighten it down into place. This is the part that goes over the crash bar. This part, the flat part, goes underneath and will connect to a hole that's on the bottom down here. So again, flat part goes against the bottom of the hard lower, and then the part will just bend together just like that to connect around the crash bar. Now you can see it goes right through there. And all I'm doing now is getting that connector aligned with one another so I can bend it down into place. And this part of it takes a little bit more finesse and a little bit more adjustment to get it exactly how you want it. There we go. And then what I did on the bottom was I just kind of used the washer to push the two pieces together to hold it in place. And once you get the bottom bracket put together, I've found in my opinion, once you find the right place for that bottom bracket, where that bottom bracket is solid on the bar, the top one will go into place. This provides a little bit of space right in here where I'm going to be able to put a different type of mounting for my highway pegs. And once I see that that rubber washer is starting to pull through, I'm going to stop that tightening. I don't want that to be too tight on there. So that appears to be nice and tight in place there. And now I'm just going to hold this into place, and I'm going to tighten these down up here. All right, now to install the cover on there, one of the things that you need to see is that right down here, right there, let's try to get that into focus. There we go. There's a little tab right there. Okay, that tab actually goes right down into here. There's a little slot right in there where that tab has to fit in. So it's going to take a little bit of finesse to kind of get that into place. And so what I found was if I kind of tip it a little bit on this side, I can slide it into place a little bit, and then it'll pop right into place. And so then it is essentially right into place. So then I'm going to pop that open, the lid, and then I'm going to step around on the other side, and I'll be able to go ahead and screw that in there. Just going to reach back, find where the hole is. I'll start it by hand first. And again, just hand tightening is probably enough. I'm just going to go about a half turn more with the ratchet, and this should be done. And there we go. That's on there nice and tight. Box closes up, no problem. And we have it completed. All right, now it's time just to do a little bit of a walk around and see what this looks like. So I'll just kind of pan down and show you. That is what it looks like for the hard lowers. The inside's a little bit difficult to see. But you can see the Advanblack hard lowers match the bike perfectly. And there is the other side. And the lighting's a little bit difficult in a garage. And you can kind of get a better idea of what the inside looks like on that side. And these are not the speaker pods. These just have the glove boxes. So there you go. That's what the install looks like. And maybe you can kind of see the new front spoiler. All right, there we go. Install is complete. Well, there you go. I hope you liked the install video. I found that probably, I think fitting them into the position that they're supposed to be in and kind of finessing that part was probably the most difficult part of that install. It's pretty straightforward. There's really, I mean, the bolt section on the bottom, you know, the two that go on the clamp on the inside, and then the one that holds the cover on. That's it. I mean, it's 4 bolts for the install. They come fully assembled. Essentially, you do have to take it apart a little bit and then reassemble it on your bike. The color match is perfect. I have nothing bad to say about that. They work really well. They're going to be a great addition to my bike. I've been running soft lowers on my bike for about the last 2 seasons. And kind of what I found is I put them on and I never really took them off. And I was never really excited about how they looked, but they're such a great thing from a functional standpoint and how I like to ride when I'm putting miles on my bike. Having that lower leg protection, the wind protection for your feet, just really enables your lower body to be able to relax when you're putting on a lot of miles. And I use my bike a lot for commuting back and forth to work, which is pretty much all highway miles. So it's 35 miles one way for me to get to work and, you know, 35 miles home, and having that opportunity to really just relax on the bike. I get wind protection from my Memphis Shades fairing, and I get now wind protection from the lowers. Now, again, I was using the soft lowers before and they worked really well. I just didn't like how they looked. But again, I just never took them off. So I thought this was the next best option. I think they look great on my bike. You know, we'll see what you guys think, but I think it's gonna be a great addition. It's certainly gonna be great for me to do long trips. And I guess I'll have another install video coming up. The Zero highway mounts that I've been using for the last couple of years for my highway pegs, they didn't work with these. And so I went online, I ordered some from Harley that are a bit more adjustable and are gonna allow me some adjustability that I didn't have with the Zero peg, the Zero mounts. And I'll be able to use them with my hard lowers on, which is really what I wanted to be able to do to begin with. I do like to use highway pegs when I go on long trips and I'm on the highway. It just gives me another place to put my feet and my legs to give me a little bit of relief on my hips and some other areas, and just really allows me to have a more comfortable ride when I'm riding long distance. So yeah, there you go. The Advanblack hard lowers installed. Think they look great. Let me know what you think. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button up here, over here, and I'll put a link to another install video of mine that you might like. And this is Kid Moto. I'm out.